Hello! Today we are going to learn how to thread a needle. You have a sewing kit. It looks like this. There's some felt, there's some embroidery floss, there is a needle threader that looks like a little silver coin almost with a little wire on it. And then you have a sewing kit. It's a hotel sewing kit. And in here there are 2 needles and they're stuck in the thread. And what I want you to do is I want you to carefully open this, find the flap, open it up, and take the needle out, okay? I already took mine out, it's right here. Now, put this back in one of your bags and close it so it doesn't get lost. I want you to take out one of your pieces of felt and I want you to right now just stick your needle through, bend it, and poke it through like that. It looks like this. You want to keep your needle in your felt. It's a bad look to put your needle on the table. You know why? Because then it falls off the table and you step on it. And stepping on a needle is bad luck. I think anybody would agree. Okay, now you have embroidery floss. We want about 4 feet of this. You can use a handout. The size of this is 8.5 inches by 11 inches. If we want 4 feet, this is about 1 foot, right? 11 inches is almost 12 inches, which is 1 foot. So we can go 1. Okay, so I grabbed the end. There's 1. There's 2. 3. I'm not being exact. There's 4. Okay, I'm doing a little bit more. Just a little, just a few inches. Ooh, I didn't do a good job cutting. That's okay. Now, put your embroidery floss back in your bag. Always just put things away so you don't misplace anything. Okay, now, this is the tricky part. You are going to split this embroidery floss. There are 6 strands and they're twisted together. We want to use 2 of these strands together. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna pull 2 and 4 and you're gonna pull these 2 apart. So it's like a Y. Do you see that? Okay. Now you don't want it to get tangled or twisted. So you kind of have to pull all 3 at the same time. If it starts to get bunched up, sort of unbunch it. Okay, you don't really want it to start twisting because that's how it will get tangled. Okay, so I have a big twist right here. I'm going to kind of go back and untwist it. All right, and I'm gonna pull my 2 and my 4 apart. And you're gonna notice it's gonna keep on getting bunched up. And every time that happens, go back and unbunch it. Just be patient. You don't want to pull too hard because it will break. If it does break, start over. Try to use the same thread and pull 2 strands off. If you can't, cut different thread, okay? This can be difficult. It is something new. It can be a little frustrating, but we're not gonna go there. We're not gonna get frustrated. You can do hard things. So if it gets frustrating, just try again. If you're really getting upset, take a break, walk away, maybe go outside, take a breath of fresh air, get a drink of water, whatever. Go pet your dog, whatever you need to do. Calm yourself down and come back to it, okay? I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes it's hard for me. And I've done this many times. So even though it is not the easiest thing in the world, I want you to learn how to do it, and I know you can. But I'm not promising that it's gonna be easy or that you're gonna get it the first time. You might not. That's okay. Give yourself permission to mess up. It's okay. We all do it. Now, I have my 2 strands and my 4 strands. What I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna take another piece of my felt. Here's my 4 strands, which I'm not using right now. I'm gonna wrap this around so that it doesn't get tangled. If you just shove this back in your bag, it will get tangled. If you do this, look at that. And then you stick it in here. That's not gonna get tangled. That's gonna stay nice. So we have to take care of things. We have to be smart. We have to work smarter, not harder. Okay. I'm gonna flip this over so that it's a good white background for you to see what I'm doing. Here are my 2 strands. So it's a little bit difficult to thread a needle with 2 strings, but that's what I'm asking you to do. That's why I gave you a needle threader. So I'm gonna take my needle, and what the needle threader is it's basically a wire loop. Stick it through the eye of the needle. I'm gonna do that again. So the eye of the needle is the little hole in the needle, and it's a lot easier to stick the wire through it than it is to stick thread through it, right? Because the wire is stiff and the thread is kind of floppy. Now it's easy to stick the sewing thread through the loop and then hold on so that the wire doesn't get pulled out of the needle threader, and just pull it onto here. Then you pull the needle threader off. Now, don't lose this. It's very easy to lose. It's teeny tiny. If you break it, fix it. This wire is crimped into this metal piece, and sometimes the wire will get pulled out. You actually can use the wire just all by itself. This is really for you to hang on to. I also have a needle threader that I made for myself using just a little tiny thin wire and a button. And the button is just to hold on to and so that you don't lose it. Okay, so you don't really need a needle threader, but it does make it easier to thread a thicker thread onto a needle. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna pull both ends of your thread and you're gonna match them up. There we go, okay? Pull your needle to the end. You might wanna smooth it out once, like this. And now we're gonna tie a knot. So we're gonna make a loop. See how we cross it over and there's a loop? And then tuck it under and pull it tight. There we go. Now you can make 2 knots. I usually do. That's gonna make, and I make the second knot right on top of the first knot. I'm gonna make 3 knots. If you take your fingernail and you kind of push the knot to go where you want it to go, the knots are all on top of each other and it's thicker, okay? So it's gonna be harder for it to pull through the felt. Okay, I have my needle threaded. What I'm gonna do now is wrap this around another one of the pieces of felt, because that's all we're doing today. Just learning how to thread a needle. Well, 2 things. We learned how to separate the embroidery floss. So it started with 6 strands and we separated it into 2 and 4. We are going to be separating these 4 again into 2. So we are ending up with 3 lengths to sew with. Okay? Again, if this is frustrating, take a deep breath, try it again. No one is saying it's supposed to be easy, okay? So don't get frustrated, just keep trying, and remember, you can do hard things. I want you to say that to yourself. I can do hard things. Yeah, it can be hard sometimes. Sometimes you need to take a deep breath. Do it and come back to it. Okay? All right. Have fun.